Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the award-winning To Hell and Back podcast. I'm your host, Nathaniel Whitto, and tonight we're joined by Joe and Will, and we're proudly sponsored by Kingfisher and Old Zoological Bar. Sorry if I'm talking really loudly. As you know, these intros don't go very well, and the music has only just stopped playing in my head at really deafening volume. But speaking of deafening volume, we had lots of that at the MKM as we scored 3 goals against Blackburn to sort of get us back on track and put us into the playoffs to end the year after 2 disappointing defeats against high-flying Bristol and Sunderland as well. So it's been an interesting period. Firstly, Merry Christmas and almost Happy New Year. Will, talk about just give us 3 words to describe 2023 as a Hull City fan.
Hyphened 21st to 6th.
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. Joe, can you do anything more concise than that?
On the spot.
That's 3 words. I'll take that, and I'll say, pretty good. Yeah. Do we need to say anything else? I don't know.
I've thought of something. We'll go for absolutely remarkable progression.
Yeah,
Who needs Longman?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to just remove Will from the stream. Nice knowing you. Maybe this time next year I'll finally let you back on. We've progressed very well under Vecenia. Tough period over Christmas, but we do find ourselves in 6th place, and we are pretty much exactly where most other teams have been after 25 games in 6th place. 4 of the last 6 seasons, I think, or 3 of the last 6 teams have been on 39 points. That's where we are. I think it was really important to get the win against Blackburn because the amount of games, and I was just talking to a Sheffield Wednesday fan, the amount of games we feel like we should have won and haven't. We've got a 2-point buffer over 7th. It should be more. But Will, give us your thoughts on the festive period so far. 3 wins out of 7. Not the best, but I think, as I said, without pillaging, we've just had to sort of muddle through. So how have you thought of the last few games?
Yeah, obviously without pillaging, straight away your most talented and your best outlet for goals have gone, you can argue. But we responded to not having him well with the wins against Borough and Cardiff, so it showed that we can live without him. But against Bristol, we were doing all right. We were winning, we were comfortable. We should have got a bigger lead, and then we threw it away. And against Sunderland, I think, you could probably say, I think Sunderland were the better team and probably deserved the victory. But the chances we had, we should have taken at least one of them because some of them were, especially Connolly's chance right on the start of the second half when it was still 0-0. You got to take those chances, and you got to give players like Jack Clark all that space to come in and cut inside because for Sunderland, he's their man. I mean, he's the only person who scored for them in 3 months. So he's the one person you need to keep an eye on. And then, of course, Blackburn, first half, great start, and then we threw it away again, like at Bristol. But when you thought Blackburn would have been the side that would take the initiative into the second half, they never really seemed to get going at the start, and they allowed City to get a hold of the ball. And on the second half, City definitely deserved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, generally just because I think it's kind of difficult to tell with the amount of possession we have, the chances, but how well we've played. After the last 3 games, we've lost to Bristol and Sunderland, but beat Blackburn. How many points do you think we actually deserved from that? Because I think some people sort of up in arms, should we have got a point there or not? So what do you think? Is 3 from 9 just about right?
We should have got more out of Bristol, I think.
We should have beat Bristol. The way we were, we should have beat them.
Yeah, and then Sunderland, they played better than us. They had more shots and corners and all that sort of thing. But then we did have more good opportunities. The Clark goal wasn't a massive one. I mean, they had Patrick Roberts' strong goal, but that was the only real clear opportunity they had, whereas we had some pretty close ones. So I feel like we probably deserved
at least a point.
I mean, yeah, because we didn't have control of the game, but we did create chances, and that is what football's about. It's about trying to get the goal and bowling the goal. So I'm split on whether we've deserved more or less, but I think we've probably been ever so slightly hard done by in those 3 games. I feel like we could have got 4 points. And then Blackburn, I think second half, we deserved it. So yeah, Joe, 3 games all against sort of teams just below us or around us in the table. Is 3 points good enough? Because we are 6th, but we should have more, right?
I think the story of our season really has been, yeah, we're doing well, but we should have more points. And I think the fact we're saying we should have more points out of these games is encouraging. And Bristol City, we should have got more out of that. We absolutely threw that away. And then there were 2 so preventable goals in there. And then there's the debate about whether the penalty was a penalty as well. And then Sunderland played some all right stuff. Could we have got a point on a different day? Yes. Could we have won it on a different day? Maybe. But then the Blackburn game started really, really well. The lapse goal, by the way. The ability that first of all, I'd just like to say I'm surprised that we won it, because I brought one of my college mates with me, and his record when he's been to City games with me is absolutely abysmal. I think we've lost 3-1.
At half time, you must have been like, oh, not again.
Well, I don't think he's seen us score a goal that wasn't like a consolation. So like 3-1, 2-1, 2-0, 0-0 against Leeds earlier this season. So we were fully going into it expecting to lose 1-0 because they were on a terrible run of form, or for it to be 0-0. And we scored after, 10 minutes?
10 minutes.
I was in total shock. And then we got a second. And I was like, God, you've broken the curse, mate. And then, yeah, that obviously didn't happen at the end of the first half, but we pulled it back. He saw us win, so he's broken that curse now. We'll let him come again.
Not his fault.
We've deemed it's not his fault now.
Well, it's just good we didn't sort of succumb to that 2-0 dangerous scoreline thing. I mean, we did for a bit,
exactly
but
what I said as well. I said 2-0 is such a dangerous scoreline. We have to just get to half time, and we didn't. But like you said, Will, Blackburn didn't take the initiative early in that. Early in that second half, they let us get into our stride a bit, and they still showed some dangerous stuff, and they were always really lively. But when Alfie Jones got that goal, we defended really well and held on to that.
Yeah. So I think generally 3 points from 9, just about right. But we've sort of covered the main period. But there are sort of lots of really specific things we can get into. As you've mentioned, 2 penalties in the Bristol game, 1 for them, 1 for us. Firstly, their penalty, I think
neither
soft,
of them
but I think the first one, the Bristol one, might have been, but it was offside in the build-up. But then I've looked back at it, and the penalty we got, Greaves just throws himself to the ground for pretty much no contact at all. And the fact that's been given as a penalty.
We know the referees in the EFL are awful. We always like to say it's for us, but it's for everyone. They're awful for everyone.
I think
particularly bad for us.
Yeah, that's pushed the dial of sort of fortune slightly towards us a little bit. I think we've probably had quite a poor run, so I guess it was good to get one.
You could argue there's another one in the Blackburn game.
Yeah, so speaking of referees, the amount of cards Matt Donoghue gave out last night was because I didn't even notice half of them. Like Dom Hyam, I didn't even know he got a booking by the time, when he got sent off. And because I'd missed so many. Because I've missed so many while I was editing my video last night, I've never concentrated so much in my life because I had to make sure I got all these cards in at the right point. Honestly, my eyes were square by the time I went to bed. It was horrible.
Half the time I was in the press box, we couldn't tell who had given the card to. So there was at least 2 occasions I thought he'd sent a man off before he had, because it looked like he'd given it to some player twice, but it turns out he'd given it to someone next to him.
But there was a point in the second half where I was about 70 odd minutes in and I'm doing a piece to camera and he books, as it turns out, Seri. But there's Seri.
I was certain he booked him at the start of the game.
Yeah, but he booked Tufan at the start of the game. And I thought he then booked, I thought, right, he's not got a second yet. He's not got his red card out. So Tufan safe. Which of Seri or Morton is it? And while I was filming, I said, I'm looking down at the camera saying, if he's booked either Seri or Morton, can't tell him. My mate just says he's looked at his phone. It's Seri. But yeah, the amount of cards there were just unbelievable.
And I do think Ian was unlucky to be sent off, to be fair. I think the second is a bit harsh.
There is a slight shirt pull, and I guess in the rules of the game, a shirt pull cynical booking, but it's so slight and it's for like half a second. Sometimes you see them where they're like dragging them back for 5 seconds and they don't even get a foul for that. Whereas this one was so subtle.
I remember a few years ago, Reece Burke got his shirt ripped by a shirt pull, and it was the same player doing it every time. I can't remember for the life of me who it was against. But no, he never got booked, and the referee didn't pick up on it as the back of Reece Burke's shirt is torn clean in two.
Yeah,
that's not a match ball collection, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if your shirt's been pulled enough so that it rips it, then I think that's probably a foul. But yeah, I agree. Those decisions in the Bristol and Blackburn game, not fully sure about those. That's the second time that we've beaten Blackburn, who have had a red card this season. So last season, I should say, we sort of really struggled against teams with red cards. But I'm not really sure it helped us that much because Blackburn, I mean, usually at home against Cardiff especially, we completely dominated the possession, whereas Blackburn sort of had it much more of this. And I guess that does help us. One of the good things we have been doing since Philogene has been injured over this sort of last sort of 5-game period is score goals. We've scored goals now at a higher rate without Tim. That's before we signed him this season and after he's been injured than we've had with him in the team. So I put this onto Twitter because I thought, well, that's an interesting stat to point out. I'm not implying we shouldn't play Philogene, but what I'm saying is that...
You're saying drops of Philogene, are you?
Well, no. I think... Yeah, that's another Longman mention that hasn't been done by me. I'm getting much better at that. It's just natural now. It's just part of the fabric of the podcast. Well, I think hopefully it will benefit the team. We were talking about this after Cardiff, and we haven't really won every game, but the team is more balanced with Delap on the wing and Connolly up front. Tufan and Connolly, when Philogene's been in the team, haven't really appeared very much. Scored of goals. Now he's out. There's enough sort of... you can only create a certain amount of opportunities. If you had Ronaldo and Messi in the same team, they'd probably score fewer goals than they would individually because you're not going to create like 5 sitters a game. You're probably only going to create a few. So it's probably a little bit more balanced. Hopefully, when he's back, we'll have found a way to be more balanced with him because he's great. But because he's so great, he's going to want the ball all the time. So how do you see this? Is this a sort of pointless thing because it's not a big sample size? So, Joe, do you think this will help when he's back, that he'll be sort of balanced more or integrated in better?
I don't think it's a pointless stat at all. I think the only pointless stat is XG.
Yes, finally someone else.
But no, it's certainly something to think about. Like you say, Philogene is so great, and when you give him the ball, he's got these moments of magic in him. And sometimes without him on the pitch, we need a moment of inspiration that he could offer. But also, equally, there are times when he's on the pitch where you think, right, Jayden, play the ball now. Play the ball now.
Pass it.
You've got Twine right next to you, mate. You've got Greaves on the overlap. You can lay it off. Oh, great, you've given it away. But he's a young player, and that's how he's been sort of nurtured in football and been brought up to play that way because he's got that confidence in himself. And because he's young, he'll learn. And like you say, Nathaniel, I hope we've found a way to to combine scoring goals, getting Philogene quality in the team, having balance, defending well. I think a time will come where we do find that, but we just can't. I suppose you can't really talk about this without just saying we do still think Philogene is a brilliant player.
Yes, of course, but it's just because he's so good. Naturally, the other players are not going to attacking players are not going to get as much of the ball because you want to going to give it to him. I think. I mean, we've seen the best of Twines, the worst of Twines. Done that joke to death. Twine is a good player. I think Tufan at the moment scoring more goals in that middle position. Twine out wide, not the best. Delap out wide. I mean, that goal against Blackburn basically done what Philogene's done a few times. He's got absolutely rapid pace, one of the quickest players I've ever seen at the club. When Philogene is back, obviously we're going to want to play him, but do you think Delap on one wing, Tufan, Philogene, Connolly up front is the four we could go for and drop Twine? Because Delap's done better on the wing than Twine has this season, and you are going to want to play Philogene. So, Will, what do you think of that?
It feels wrong almost playing Delap not as a striker, but he's so good at right wing. It's weird. I think at the moment the best front four we can pick, just purely based on form, is, well, if they're all fit, Connolly, Jaden, Delap and Tufan behind. But it does feel harsh on Twine because when he plays in the middle, he looks good, but he can't play in the middle because he can't drop Tufan, really.
Yeah, I mean, of course, we'll be able to rotate round them, but generally, football is, tactically simple in that you just want your best players on the pitch.
It's a good problem to have.
Those are our best attacking players, and I think if it can work with Delap out wide, I'd rather have Delap out wide than Twine, and you want Philogene on. And Connolly is our top goal scorer somehow, despite going goalless for like 15 games, a third of the year. So you need him on the pitch. I think obviously that's going to be a few weeks away. Depends on who we sign in January. Ryan Kent, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang.
Of course.
Don't think so. But yeah, I think that's something to think about. But of course, if we keep scoring goals at this rate, which has been very good, 3 against Blackburn, 2 against Bristol, 3 against Cardiff, then Philogene, I mean, he is going to go straight into the team, but it'll be a harder choice for Rossini to make at that point than it would have been if he'd been injured for like a week. So one to look out for.
I think Twine is similar to Traore in a sense, in that when they've played through the middle, they've both looked so much better than they do out wide.
Well,
and
I think Traore's best game has been when he was deep against Preston.
Yeah, I'd agree. When he was playing instead of Morton, wasn't he? Morton had an injury, and it was Traore's best game for us for me.
Yeah,
but for most of the season he's been shoved out wide because of injuries and stuff like that. We haven't seen that same ability. And him and Seri going off to AFCON after the Sheffield Wednesday game, we've got room to not so much experiment, but we've got an FA Cup game against Birmingham where we could try things with other players, maybe. I don't know.
It'll be interesting because the obvious one, like your head would be, you'd bring Slater into midfield alongside Morton. But then at the moment, who are you playing at left back then? Because Slater's been playing as a sort of inverted left back.
Do you put Greaves out there again? Bring McLaughlin back in?
You'd rather do that than trust Christie because I've written him down in my notes. We're going to talk about him.
Yeah.
I would rather have Greaves and McLaughlin on than Christie at the moment.
I mean, I think I would rather have Slater playing left back than having McLaughlin on, to be honest, but that's a different story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, McLaughlin's not been as strong as he had been the few years prior. Not been quite as good. The whole defence hasn't been as good as last year. Attacking-wise, we are much better, but we're still trying to find that balance.
There's also Greg Doherty, and someone's actually put that in the comments. Actually,
and Shep,
yeah, but I mean, he's a logical backup as well. But it just feels like it don't feel like he'll ever start a game to me.
I guess for 3 or 4 games he could slot in there, couldn't he? If he plays well in the cup.
I imagine he'll definitely be playing in the cup for us there. I imagine.
Will we bring Max Baird in time? Do you think?
Yeah.
It depends on what the transfer window brings up as well. Yeah.
I guess we do have. No, I mean, Haldane ML just put out an article saying Furlong's going to be the first out the door in January, on loan at least.
For Furlong though, it's a difficult one, isn't it? But what I will say about him is he's got. I'll show you this. This is quite possibly the worst autograph in the world. This card is 14 centimeters by 9 centimeters. His autograph fills 2.7 by 2.
Oh, that is tiny. So who's that? Whose is that again?
That's James Furlong's.
I've seen worse autographs.
My autograph is worse because I don't have one. Not that anyone's ever asked me. Oh no, not autograph, signature. Oh, that's different. You know, I've never thought of them being different before, but they are.
Yeah, but
do you know who?
They're different words.
Do you know who Stuart Fielding is? He was a rugby player, one of the best.
Yes, I recognise the name.
Yeah, well, he was a teacher at my college as of last month when he just decided to quit randomly, and a couple of people who I go early to City with, they'd given me some stuff for him to sign. And he initially said I was just going to sign it like I was signing a legal document then. But then he remembered that he said I had to twig that my autograph is different. And then he was giving me the whole psychology.
More flair to it.
He was he was giving me all the theory behind because like having a quick autograph and stuff like that, and why and what his says and why it was so quick and stuff like that. Yeah, really interesting to get a little insight into that. I thought Jamie's left. I got on with it.
We halt this episode of To Hull and Back to bring you to Autographing Back.
Autograph news.
Autograph news with Joe. I think this could catch on. I mean, I won't be listening, but I'm sure someone will enjoy it.
What was we on about? It was left backs, wasn't it? I think.
Well, yes, I've written Christie down, and I'm going to have. Well, it's not really going to be a rant. I don't think there's much more to say than he's lost. I mean, to say he's lost a yard would be a little bit flattering. He's probably lost 2.5 since his injury.
When I was talking about it, I definitely said 2.
Yeah, and going forward, he's still a decent enough player, but defending, it's not that I've seen him defend poorly. It's that I've not seen him defend anytime across. No, because he's not even stretching out a leg. He's just.
That might be worse.
He's not reacting to, if you against Bristol twice and then Jack Clark's goal, they just cut in. It's not even a particularly good bit of skill. They just run past him, and they score. And then about 5 crosses against Watford at the Watford game, just straight past him. And it just, at the moment, it feels like a liability. It's a shame because he was one of the best fullbacks last year. But I think having that long-term injury at that stage of his career has not been good on him. And Coyle, much more trustworthy as the captain. He's done really, really well this year. I mean, a lot of people said he's been the most improved player this season. Could agree with that.
Yeah. Coyle haters have been a lot quieter recently, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely, and deservedly so because he's been good. But so, I mean, I don't exactly want to jump onto January just yet, but Furlong still not played, and we're playing Slater at left back or right back. Was Coyle left back? I don't know, but
I think Matty Jacobs is more likely to play left back than Furlong is.
Yeah,
he's more likely to recall Fleming than play Furlong.
We've got 11 days between the Sheffield Wednesday game and the next league game. Hopefully, we get a left back and a midfielder in, because I think those are things we need, and a winger and another 5 players. That would be good. Probably not. Keeper, yeah. So maybe we'll just mention that.
David De Gea is free.
Oh yeah, David De Gea is free, but then he's not that good with his feet, is he? So, not sure about that.
To be fair, the last couple of games, I would say, since coming back into the side and starting, Ingram's not put a foot wrong, really, for the most part. You could say for the second Blackburn goal, he maybe should have done a lot better.
But then that was a deflection, wasn't it, off Coyle? So that was very difficult to react in that time to that, I thought.
I would say he's fine. But he didn't have to distribute a lot, but what he did do with his feet was okay compared to his previous stint in goal. And I mean, against Bristol, to be fair, against Bristol, he was coming in cold. And I mean, he should have done a lot better with it, but it's always an awkward time for a keeper to come on the way.
Even a substitute, it's difficult, but as a goalkeeper substitute, 70 minutes in, away from home, after being out for so long, and having to play that system, which he's clearly not as good at as Allsop, allegedly, although Allsop's given the ball away a few times. Yeah, I agree. That was the question I was going to ask. I did see a few people say that Traore had played really, really well against Blackburn. Of course, the one game over this period that I've not been able to watch, I was listening in and out every 5 minutes on the radio because I was with my family over Christmas. Of course, we win that one. The two I've watched, we lose. So he had played well, had he? Good.
Yeah, I thought he had a good game.
Main question. Yeah. And then Stefan Rands has commented in, if only we'd signed Cox in summer, who was that left back we had on trial.
Well, that's the thing. He could just ended up not playing either. He might have not shown.
He hasn't played many games this season, I don't think.
No, he hasn't. Like,
I guess
he looked good in pre-season, but sometimes players do, and that's pre-season. It's not the actual competitive season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I trust Rossinia, but I think that the Vinagre transfer, though an attractive opportunity, it hasn't worked, and his loan will be cancelled in January, won't it? Won't it? Well, because you can't rely on him to, even though his last 2 games he's played, he's won us the game. If he's only playing 1 game a month, you'd rather have a left back, because otherwise we are left with Christie on the other side and Kyle on the left, which doesn't really work. So what is the dilemma? What's the priority in January? Is it a left back? We'll just jump into January.
I think we do need to sign a left back, not get one on loan. We need to sign a left back who is going to be the first choice left back.
Yeah. Joe, thoughts?
Just going back a little bit, Cox has played 8 league games this season. When he signed for his new club, FC Volendam, he missed their first 3 games of the season with a toe injury. And he's,
right.
Did you get that from Connolly?
Pardon?
Did you get that from Connolly?
Contagious, maybe. And then he's played one cup game as well. So
Volendam are doing superbly. They're currently 17th in the Bundesliga. They're just kept off the bottom by Vitesse on goal difference.
So
which is depressing. I really like Vitesse, and I don't like seeing that.
Even Vinagre's played more than that. He's played 10 games. So,
back to Jan. Left back definitely. Looking longer term, I saw a tweet today about Cartwright at Grimsby. He'd got his first pro clean sheet, and I can't think for the life of me who tweeted it. And thank you, Alex.
Who's who?
Yes, we've just had a comment in from. Sorry to interrupt you, but we've got to do this. Alex has just commented in Witto, Joe, and Will, the Humberside MSN, as in Messi, Suarez, Neymar.
I assume he means Messi, Suarez, Neymar, and not MSN Messenger.
Messi's left-footed. I'm Messi.
I'm left-footed. So don't try that bullshit.
Okay, I mean, I've never bitten anyone, so I can't be Suarez. Right, that's his defining trait.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I'll take Neymar.
Oh, you're a diving little shite.
I'm a diver. Yeah.
I'll polish my teeth, shall I?
Yes. Okay.
My teeth.
He
jumped into his
and
teeth.
his Griezmann. So we've just completely derailed the thing. Joe, you were talking about January.
So someone put on Twitter about Cartwright Grimsby fans
Yes.
love him.
Finally got his first clean sheet, didn't he, this weekend?
Yeah, Grimsby fans absolutely love him, and I think that's brilliant because he had a really, really tough year last year, and he's a great kid, great lad is Harvey. But City, some were saying, "Oh, recall him." They say he's good with his feet. My assessment of Cartwright when he's played is he's good at the shot stopping stuff, but because he's younger, he hasn't had the experience of knowing what to do with his feet at this level. When he's played for us in the Championship and Papa John's Trophy a couple of years ago, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a year out last year has set him back massively. He spent a full year, well, half the year injured at Peterborough, and then the other half of the year going in as a goalkeeper in January when you're young on loan. It's going to be tough. And he played twice for Wycombe, once in the County Cup and the other time in the league, and they lost both. But this year, he struggled to get into the team at Grimsby at first because Paul Hurst likes... who's the other guy they've got?
I can't remember the name of him.
He played for Paul Hurst at Swinney, and my boss used to work with him.
We'll derail to hand back to get to Peterborough and back.
Jake Eastwood.
Jake Eastwood, that's it. Said my boss is an ex-Scunny goalie. He said he's a proper, like fits the stereotype of goalies are mad. But Cartwright's, since they've got the new manager in, he's taken the number 1 shirt, taken that starting spot, grasped it with both hands. And the only thing we need to do is keep him there for the season, keep him playing games, keep him getting...
Essentially, what would you do with Andy Smith? Yeah, let him play there and play regular for a couple of seasons.
We need to do the exact same thing with Tim because, let's face it, he only played at Stevenage last season because they had so many injuries.
It's like 6 games or something at the end, wasn't it?
Yeah, 6-7 games at the end of the season. And he needs experience as well because we saw in pre-season he's still very raw.
And in the under-21s, they're conceding a lot at the moment.
The under-21s, when Tim, the 2 games Tim has played for the under-21s this season, conceded 6 to bottom of the league and got sent off after 8 minutes. So...
I think talking about the under-21s is maybe we will leave that for the time being.
Well, we know what happened last time we mentioned the under-21s when I was on this show, don't we?
Yes. I've still had nightmares.
The under-18s are doing well, though. We could just shout that out there.
Yeah.
That's good. But if we're mentioning goalkeepers and left-backs and stuff, if we could only sign one player in one position, would it be goalkeeper or left-back or left-wing? Because I think those are all quite important.
Left back, absolutely.
Left back, yeah.
Long term, a goalkeeper is something we need to look at possibly because Allsop's 31, Ingram's 28, and are either of them Prem quality? For me, not really. And so that's something we need to look at long term. We've obviously got Cartwright and Tim, but we need to develop them, and they need games. So a loan for Tim has to be the priority in January.
Yeah, loans to Furlong and go to Tyler, pretty important. But goalkeepers, Allsop's done pretty well at that system. A few dodgy games more recently before the injury. It was still pretty decent, but I understand that Rossini thought that his distribution was good, but when he was brought in, he'd come from Cardiff and Derby. They didn't really play the system we played. It's better at it than most goalkeepers, but there's that long ball distribution, which he's good at, but you need to be calm and composed in the sort of tight areas like an Ederson is, and very few keepers are like that. We really need to get a academy goalkeeper from the Premier League who's done it, for years and learnt to do it and is completely confident at it because it's so pivotal to the way we play, I think.
Someone who's done it, who's played in the Championship quite a lot, and he's a backup at his club. Someone like Zach Steffen would probably be ideal.
Yeah,
exactly.
Can I think he's aimed at one Twitter account specifically. I think you'll know who we're on about, but please please leave Carl Darlow alone. He's gone. Ignore him now.
It isn't one account. There's too many people who can't get over the fact we haven't got Darlow, and it is sad that we didn't get Darlow. I mean, he's all right now because Meslier was an absolute idiot against Preston and got himself sent off, so it means Darlow's actually going to play some football now.
Probably just one match though, and then he'll be back in, won't he?
Darlow's done. It's just get over it. It's gone. It's like Oscar's not going to play for Hull City again. Get over it. It's not happening unless something horrendous.
I think we should recall Oscar in January.
Why? He's injured.
Just let me dream.
He's not played since October.
I suppose so, yeah. And Shep's put Stefan for Man City. That's the sort of person we need, I think. And then, yeah, long-term, Furlong, 6 months, or how long is it since the summer? Around there, half a year. Left back, we're playing Slater, we're playing, Coyle. We're refusing to play Furlong. And then Vinagre is on loan. Christie is probably going to go at the end of the year. We're not going to renew his contract, I wouldn't say. So then we've got, 2 fullbacks and 3. Fleming is not really going to play for us. So, yeah, we probably need to sign 1 or 2 fullbacks either now or in the summer. So that is definitely something we need. Winger, slightly less important than I thought it was going to be because goal scoring.
Right now.
No, maybe a backup one, but I think maybe backup midfielder. Max Bird wouldn't be a bad shout.
If we do get rid of Cynic and Aliar in the January, then yeah, maybe bring in another winger. But if we don't, I don't see the point.
But they don't play anyway, and we've got
are,
fine without them.
You got to think of the money they're taking up there while they're at the club.
I forgot how quick Aliar was. My God, when he came on that pitch, he showed a bit of summer.
He's got to do more than that.
I forgot how badly he controlled the ball.
Do you think it's because he's so fast? He's definitely always going to, destroy his hamstrings. Maybe he needs to slow down a bit. Fixed injury crisis. Fixed. Run slower.
It's not stopping. It's not stopping Delap from being an absolute powerhouse going forward.
No, I suppose not. But it's going to happen at some point.
You look at it end of last season. He played 15, 20 games at the end of last season. Scored 5 or 6 goals. That's not too bad. And to me, I don't see what Lekilo offers us that Aliar doesn't, if you get what I'm trying to say. I think Lekilo's all right, but in terms of taking a man on and stuff like that and having a dig, Aliar's just got way more confidence at that.
Yeah, you've got to buy a ticket to win the lottery.
Really, in recent weeks, taking a man on at all. And we've seen Aliar's just not scared to do
that. Speaking of being scared, you'd be more scared playing Aliar than Lekilo if he was fit, because he's got that pace and he has got that confidence. He's direct, whereas Lekilo, he's okay, as you said. But yeah, I still don't see Lekilo or Aliar and Cynic surviving through January. I mean, they'll survive, but not here. And it's probably best for Aliar to move on.
I can see sticking about until at least the end of the season. Aliar and Cynic their futures are a bit more up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alex has asked about Uriel Celli, that Peruvian player. He won't play.
Right. In the post-match press conference after Blackburn, Baz did ask about that. And the words were from Baz asked about it, saying, have you got any idea of when he's coming in? And Liam just directly said, no idea.
Wow. Oh, my word.
Exceptional management.
And I don't think it means that he doesn't know. I think it's more about he's got other things on his mind right now in his recruitment process, rather than someone who's been linked to be coming in since before Liam even got the job. I think he's coming in at some point in January. It's just I don't think he knows the actual specifics of it.
And let's not forget, he's never ever linked up with the first team.
Not once.
There was
Has he even been to England?
Tan says
that's why he stayed over there, because he couldn't get into England at the time.
Yeah, Tan said they were thinking about taking him to Turkey in pre-season, but that never materialised. And I don't think he's necessarily played loads for Universitario in Peru.
Hardly.
He's played 10 games, I think he's played.
Because they won the league in Peru, but he was not a part of that.
You've got to think that the problem was the work permit and the fact he needed to play games to get in. And
I think he has played enough now.
Has he played enough?
They relaxed the rules anyway, didn't they?
Well,
so
he
we
must
don't
have
even
done
need...
because he has been backside. I'm assuming he has.
Oh, best get white cards out then.
What was the Irish team we'd bought?
Shelburne.
Yeah, we don't even need them anymore because Shelburne. I think they relaxed the rules anyway. So that whole thing, he is not going to play for Hull. I don't see it. Cynic's barely played for us.
I'll be surprised.
And it's a similar sort of situation. Injured, never plays winger. Nah, it's not going to happen.
I'd be surprised.
There haven't been any other rumours, I think, to talk about. Well, there was Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, and I guess it would be nice to have a whole player called Nathaniel, but from Derby, end of his career, left Cardiff for some reason. Dodgy.
I want to say this now before January even starts. Not every rumour that happens is absolutely 100% truly a transfer.
Oh, wait. So, Will, that 2-hour interview I've done with a Derby fan about Mendes-Lang, I'll just have to bin that then, will I? It's a shame. I've done a goal compilation and everything.
This is more an aim in general. It's just the way that people act. Like, as soon as the name comes up, it must be something that's actually genuine.
Yeah.
No, like 9% of them are absolute bollocks.
It was really strange to see just how many people jumped on that one, assuming it was true. Because usually people are like, oh, well, I don't know about that. Oh, that would be good. But this was like, that's definitely happening and we don't like it.
That's what annoys me is when people are like, oh, well, I'm not sure. Well, wait until the club actually says something and then decide if you think it's a bad idea or not.
But have you noticed when it comes to Josh King, Nathaniel Mendes-Lang, when Rosenior's had those names put to him, he's flat out refused them. But then with Ryan Kent, he said, I won't talk about another club's player. I'm focused on my job.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
So.
Fingers crossed. I hope he's not like another Pelkas. Pelkas might be the player I'm most excited about signing.
Even if they are linked with these players, that doesn't guarantee that we're going to get them either.
Of course it doesn't. There are so many intricate things that go on with football clubs to do with transfers that we fans don't see. But everyone plays football at FIFA and Football Manager, and we think it's just right. It's easy then. You sit in a room, you have 3 chances to agree a deal with them. You meet somewhere in the middle, and then you go and sit in a cafe and negotiate a contract. No, that's not how it works. You don't do a transfer in a day.
No. I had something really interesting and charismatic to say, and I've completely forgotten now. So we'll just muddle through, I guess, without. What was it? Signing football players and Ryan Kent, sort of podcasts and.
Was it to do with Ryan Longman again?
It was not to do with Ryan Longman. I've been very good.
Should we recall him?
I mean, yes, obviously. He could play. Exactly. Who needs to sign a left back just for Cole Longman? Left back, stick him there. He can kick the ball away. He's quicker than Christie. Fixed, sorted. No. I mean, obviously I'd like that, but I don't think that's going to happen. Oh, I had something really good to say. That's a real shame. It'll come to me.
Since no one mentioned it at the time, I was so happy Alfie Jones finally scored. It's been
so
and it's a goal he's utterly deserved for so long.
What a player.
And he's got a little baby. Delap was doing that celebration after he scored. That was nice. And I mean, 2 set-piece goals pretty recently now. Had one against Blackburn.
I don't care statistically if there is a better centre-back. Alfie Jones is the best centre-back in the league.
Yeah, he doesn't even get into half the lineups I do.
I don't care if but your lineups are mental. So,
But the fact he's not a flashy name, though, it means that we've.
That's it. He's a jack of all trades.
Is he better than Greaves? For you, he is.
All round, yes.
So sell Greaves, keep Jones, sorted, isn't it?
I was speaking to Mark.
I would say keep both.
I was sat with Mark and Jacob Greaves at an under-21s game actually, and we were talking about centre halves, and Jacob said, Mark tells me who the best centre half at the club is, and he tells me it's not me.
Yeah, it's Alfie.
That's really, it's either Sean or Alfie then, isn't it?
I think it's Alfie is what Mark's getting at, like, really, because he's the one who regularly plays.
Mm-hmm.
Alfie Jones, what a player.
Yeah. Have we talked about Billy Sharp? I'm not sure.
No,
I haven't talked about him.
I'm not sure on the podcast. We brought him up in the last episode, but you were on. Neither of you were.
Well, no. So, Joe, Billy Sharp, best goal scorer in Championship history. Good signing?
Because as we know, football started in 2004.
As always. Just
what do you mean? Well, it did.
That's when the Championship started.
Yeah.
No, it's that football started in 1992, didn't it? Well,
I'm on about the Championship. Second Division football didn't start until 2004.
Yeah, before, if you got relegated from the Premier League, you just sort of went into the abyss. Yes.
Billy Sharp, it's a signing I absolutely love, because is he going to start week in, week out over Liam Delap or Aaron Connolly? Absolutely not. He knows that. He said that himself in the little.
He did say he's not come to just sit on the bench, which I like that. He's not just come to.
Well, no one's going to say, "Oh, yeah, I've come to sit on the bench."
No, but you know what I mean. He could easily have said he's come to sort of. He's not. He's just saying he's getting out there now. It's like, I want to be starting every game.
I've just seen that comment from Alex. Yes, I was not alive in 2004.
I was.
How old were you?
I was 2.
Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm an elderly man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll tell you the. Oh yeah, keep going about Billy Sharp.
Sorry, Nathaniel. I think Billy Sharp. He knows he's not going to be a starter, but he also knows he's there to push Delap and Connolly to be better. And he knows that with his experience, he can help those two be better players. And in terms of bringing a player on with 15, 20 minutes to go, if we need a goal, like think back to that Rotherham home game last season, where that ball was just pinballing about in the penalty area so much, and we didn't have a striker on the pitch because all of them were injured. In a situation like that, if you need someone to turn that ball into the back of the net at this level over the last 10, 15, 20 years, there's no one else you would pick other than Billy Sharp.
I would argue go back a week, and when we were 2-1 up against Bristol, he probably would have scored half the chances we created.
Yeah.
You didn't even have to go back to Rotherham. Just a week.
Or Sunderland?
Even Sunderland, yeah. If he'd been in
half
that position
the chances against Blackburn.
If he'd have been sat in that spot where Connolly was right after half time, he would have buried that.
He would have absolutely buried it.
The last 10 minutes against Plymouth, he would have had a hat-trick.
His experience, his know-how, he's a bit of a shithouse as well, and we need a player like that. We need a player like that who can get under opposition defence's skin. And I think for 6 months initially, I think it is the perfect signing as a backup striker.
Yeah. There's several reasons, like you say. It's a free transfer, so straight away you're not paying. I know you're paying for wages, but we're paying for Cynic to sit on the bench after he's injured himself getting out of bed. You say it's only a 6-month contract, so if it doesn't go well, he's out the door in relative quick time. He brings experience, not just of being in the Championship, but of getting out of the Championship. So he brings that sort of experience for a promotion push. He'll push, like you said, he'll push the players who are already there. He'll help teach them. He'll give them so much experience in terms of finishing as well. And he'll, in theory, if he plays like the last 20 minutes of every game for the rest of the season, he's guaranteed to get probably 4 or 5 goals.
Yeah, reasonable.
I don't
Well,
think there's no downside to it, I don't think, anywhere.
Well, I'll say one downside. I've just realised why, because we're making all these transfers, why we get so many injuries. We keep signing players who come in and push our own players. Okay, I'll quickly move on and tell you the story of me responding to the Billy Sharp rumour. The first thing I saw was that we were signing, well, initially we knew that we'd already signed a player. So I was like, okay, well, who's that? Probably a free agent. Then from America, I was like, okay.
Lionel Messi.
Carlos Vela or Lionel Messi or, someone like that. Then I heard it was Billy Sharp. I thought, okay, well, that's nonsense because that's a sort of signing we would have made years ago when we had no money. And then it was confirmed. I was like, he won't play. He's rubbish. He's past it. And then basically lots of people commented, and now I've completely switched. Firstly, we get to do the ridiculously cringe Baby Shark chant.
We're not doing that.
So that's a plus for me. If we can do the mould chant, we can do the Baby Shark, Billy Sharp song.
No.
And then
that's so Americanized.
Even though he can't play his first game as a City player or first day as a City player will be in Sheffield Wednesday, so that's nice.
That annoyed me so much that he can't play against Wednesday because that would have been the absolute best way.
Send a petition to the EFL to get it changed to the 2nd of January. You know, just because that'd be good.
Could you imagine that Billy Sharp getting brought on, making his debut? Just serenaded.
Serenaded. On TV as well.
The idea of Billy Sharp, like if Connolly and Delap are playing so well, just sticking him on the wing, making him run, that'd be fun. The idea of him scoring a late winner against Leeds in the playoff final, like Windass, that.
Good teasing, Nathaniel.
That sounds good to me. And then, if we are going to sign any striker to be the sort of third choice behind Delap and Connolly, you don't want just another quick young striker because we've got 2 of those. You want someone who's an experienced head. I mean, Jagielka was there recently at the club. Maybe you want to have Sharp and Jagielka as coaches eventually, or that sort of person like Rossini.
I've got something on
be happy with that. But then also,
it's here to see someone, a particular player on a
maybe, but
Rossini was asked about it and he said Jagielka's son plays for our academy. And
could still get him in. Still get him in though. Why not?
Jags is welcome anytime, but there's nothing in any rumour.
There's nothing like him being a defensive coach. No.
Yeah. If you're going to sign a third choice striker, even though he's old, if you're going to sign anyone, you may as well get someone who's scored more goals than anyone else at this level. Because as third choice, you won't get anyone better than third choice than someone who's scored 200 championship goals or something like that. So
300 not.
Yeah. Is it like 300 in his career, 200 in the championship or something? Like ridiculous amounts, huge amounts. So yeah, I've completely switched on it. He is screwing the 90th minute winner volley against Leeds, playoff final, promoted. Yeah, that'd be good. So yeah, Billy Sharp. I'm okay with that, but I do hope that we're not just going to sign, 35-plus-year-old players in January. We do need a sort of first choice left back for the next few years, perhaps, and maybe cover in another position. So that's Billy Sharp. Do we want to just cover the whole year? I mean, Will, you were going through some predictions. I'll just read out some points of how we've improved. Last year, 2022, 48 games in the league, 58 points, whereas this time, 46 games, so like a full season, 67 points. And we've only been good for half of that. So I think, playoffs is a possibility with the way we've improved. Will, did you write down what our predictions were at the start of the season? Do we want to compare that to what we think now?
Yeah. So I thought I'll go back and have a look at when we did our season preview with Tigers Down Under. There was obviously me, you, and Ant went on it. So obviously there's nothing here for Joe to be worried about. But I picked up a few of them. Firstly, where we predicted we'd finish in the season was pretty similar. Ant said 9th, you said 10th, I said between 8th and 11th. Let's say 10th. So we're on target. We're above target at the moment. Who would be?
I said the same to many people I spoke to as well.
I think the general consensus, the majority of people did say a mid-table finish for the most part, maybe on the edge of the playoffs.
Gabe said 6th. Gabe Sutton.
Gabe did say 6th, which is
that's getting pretty good.
In the summer, to have said that to me seems mental.
Before we signed Philogene as well.
Well, this is where it's going to get funny because we did the best signing, and we did this at the end of July before Philogene Connolly officially, Morton, Twine, and Allsop all joined. Ant said Vinagre. Nathaniel said Vinagre. Nathaniel said Vinagre or Longman new contract.
Let's take that. It's still on. That's still on.
I was sensible, and I initially said Vinagre and then changed it to Longman Delap.
Yeah. I mean, that's still wrong.
Well, I would argue, because the best signing for me has been Morton. I'm assuming for most people it's Philogene.
Well, Morton, yes, but he will probably not be with us, whereas we can sell Philogene, so...
Got to hold a vote at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Morton is class on grass.
Our top scorer, this was a great one again, because we said it at the end of July when a certain Oscar Estepinian was still here. So Ant said Oscar. Nathaniel said Oscar or Longman.
Yeah. Well, Longman's still on.
And I played it safe. And I can't believe it. I said Connolly.
Yeah, I still don't believe that he is our top scorer.
He hadn't signed yet.
Yeah, I know.
Well, that was a good shout.
I said Connolly, or if he doesn't sign Delap.
Oh, because we hadn't. We thought we were going to sign Connolly like day one of the window, but then it took a little while, didn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it was on, then it was off again, then it was on again.
Pretty much. And I think, and then player of the season, this is the last one we'll do with the ones from it.
I think I remember what I said for this, and that's
what do you think you said?
A great choice. I think I said Slater again.
You did say Slater.
Yeah,
bad
choice.
I said Slater as well. It's not great. It could have been worse. You could have said what Ant said, because he said Cyrus Christie.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry, Ant. I'm really sorry.
That's rough. That's really rough.
Oh.
Wow. I think we might need cheering up after that, to be honest. I think we might need cheering up. So
I mean, I suppose back in the summer, before we'd signed who we'd signed, saying oh God.
Yeah, whatever. It's a combined lineup. We're doing the combined lineup. It's taken a while, but I did do one, so we're doing it.
My bingo board up here from my video. I've got Ryan Longman to score 5 or more league goals sat on here.
Oh, that's still not looking too great.
How many he scored for Millwall?
He's 1.
Was it just the 1?
Against Rotherham, so it doesn't even count.
Everyone
scores against Rotherham.
I have been given to me. We'll sign 1 Irish international. That was before we signed Connolly. Andy Smith making his league debut, direct from a free kick once. A fan favourite to leave the club, Oscar.
Longman.
Oscar.
Longman.
Yeah. Sean McLaughlin to be named in the starting 11 for 15 or more league games. But then I've also got centre-backs to score a combined 10 or more goals.
Oh, dear.
We beat Donny in the first round of the Carabao Cup.
Oh, dear.
I thought that was a safe bet.
Well, when we went 1-up in 5 minutes, so did I.
To be fair, it's funny how people have forgotten about that game.
So funny, isn't it?
You remember the reaction to that game.
The meltdown. And then we're 6th. Yeah. Good thing we've been able to focus on the league. Out the cup, focus on the league. Yeah. And that's what we've done. So
we're going to say that if we lose to Birmingham, I'll actually flip as well.
Well, because it'll have been 3 years since we've won a cup game. So
more because it's Wayne Rooney, Birmingham, and they're appalling.
Yeah, they really are. And it'll be Wayne Rooney's second team. So imagine how bad they are. Anyway, nice try trying to get away from the combined lineup, but we're still doing it. So sorry, Will. For audio listeners, I'll read it out because we are an audio podcast. Although I don't know, most people watch it live, do they? I don't know. Dawson in goal because Ingram, Allsop. I mean, I don't know.
You know what? We don't know.
I mean, I don't think Marvin Johnson at left back is a good player, but he scored, and we've had such issues with left back. He has to be in.
He is a left back.
Whoever the left, exactly. If he is a left back, he has to be by default. So
I mean,
Greaves,
to be fair,
Jones,
Slater has done fantastically well, but he technically isn't a left back. So
well, he can. I can put them anywhere, but yeah, and then Surrey, Tufan, Morton, Dunlap, Connolly, and then on the wing for Sheffield Wednesday, we've got Musaba, who scored 3 and 5, I think.
What you're saying is if Philogene was fit, it'd just be an all-city attack.
Well, yeah, because Sheffield Wednesday are second bottom. So
true. But they have picked up slightly.
They have picked up slightly.
They are not the team we played at the start of the season.
Can't believe you've not put Malik Wilkes in there, Nathaniel.
Does he even play for them, to be fair?
No. He will score, though, on Monday. They'll wheel him out of the cupboard. Rotting.
If anyone's going to score, it's Windass.
Of course it is.
Oh, gosh. Billy Sharp will work his magic, though. He'll possess Liam Delap and score 5 goals. He's been into mysticism recently. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so we'll just get your prediction out of the way, and then, me and Joe can discuss the game seriously. Will, what's the prediction for Sheffield Wednesday?
I actually think my regular score is not a bad prediction for this.
It's not a bad prediction. I think it'll be pretty tough, but yeah, what do you think about the Wednesday game then on Monday?
I would say that they've picked up a little bit of form, not massively. I mean, they're still down there, but I think there'll be a harder challenge than there were last time. But obviously, I'm going to say 3-0 Hull City.
Yeah.
Why change the habit of a lifetime?
It's felt like a lifetime.
Well, it's working.
Yeah. I mean, we're joint on points, so yeah, I guess so. Joe,
right then, Nathaniel.
Yorkshire Derby. What are the main threats? Do you think? What's the main thing you're scared about? Is it just if Christie plays?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
That feels so.
I don't think it will.
That's so horrible.
We're usually quite nice to our players, even if they're not playing well. But
look, Sheffield Wednesday have had a bit of an upturn in form under Danny Rowe, but they are still Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah,
that's
the best way to say it, actually. Yeah,
they are still second bottom. Yeah.
So, I also think we'll score 3.
Mm-hmm.
But
how many will?
I just let one in as well, and it'll be a little spawny, stupid goal.
Wilkes, 95th minute.
Yeah, 3-1 win. 3-1 win. Delap, Connolly, Tufan the goals.
Well, I think obviously Leeds games are pretty big, but Sheffield Wednesday games are also relatively derby-ish, rivalry-ish for us. So 5-0 to us. Billy Sharp, as I said, he's going to possess whoever's up front, and
he's going to
maul them. We're going to start 2024 the way we mean to go on. Playoffs, here we come.
Just under 4,000 going as well. It's going to be nice for once.
Yeah.
Is it the most we've had goes since Hillsborough?
Since Hillsborough?
Hillsborough. Oh, you're too young to remember that, both of you.
No, I know what Hillsborough was. I know what Hillsborough was.
When we beat them 4-2.
With Nick Barmby.
Nick Barmby scored. One of the
because it was a full away end.
Yeah. Was that white shorts?
There was about 8,000 there.
Mm-hmm.
White shorts with the home shirt.
Yes. Yeah, it was.
That was a good look. Good look.
It was very good look. It was around 20 years ago now, which depresses me greatly.
What
I guess
year
I
was
have
it?
4.
It was in a 4.
4. Yeah, well, I want a live.
Yeah.
That predates me by 2 years.
Young, very young. So it's nice being not the youngest on the podcast now. That's very good. Yeah, I'm not really sure whether I'll actually stick to 5-0 win, but I'd like a 5-0 win. It's going to happen at some point. So manifest the 5-0 win. Yeah. And we'll get 2 men sent off, but we're still much better than them. So we'll dominate it even with 9 men. I'm that confident. New year, new city. Then every big chance they get, they're going to score. Because if we did that, we would win a huge amount. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. What are our main hopes for next year, Hull City wise? I mean, it's pretty obvious, but what would domination? Okay, well.
I wouldn't mind being the holders of the FA Cup by that point. That wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah. And then
it's crazy that we can actually say maybe be a Premier League club.
Maybe.
It's not impossible.
I mean, you look at the amount of teams that have been in the playoffs, because it's always a huge amount. I mean, Leeds and Southampton have been there pretty much the whole time. And then I feel like we've been in it pretty much as more than anyone else. We're always there and thereabouts. Some teams have come from like 15th to 6th and then down again. But even though we've not been consistent, we've been just about consistent enough to be almost consistent.
What it is, so many teams in that middle gap are just constantly win, lose, pretty much. And we're just on the edge of that as well.
Well,
but we're usually win, lose, draw, lose.
Apart from the opening game of the season, the lowest we've been in the table is 12th.
Yeah, because that mid-table gap's like 3 or 4 points. It's easy for you to suddenly drop after a couple of games and get straight back up after a couple.
Since we were last in 12th place after the Southampton loss, we've gone 9th, 8th, 9th, 8th, 8th, 6th, 6th, 8th, 7th, 6th, 6th, 7th, 6th.
So we're always just about there. I think that fact that we, until recently hadn't lost 2 in a row has helped. And hopefully that's not going to happen again. Shouldn't do, because we are a good enough team to at least scrape a draw in 2 games. But yeah, I think that we still haven't reached top gear, and hopefully January will help. But Christmas period, got 1 more game, that sort of festive period against team in decent enough form, but I feel like we'll still be able to dominate the possession, and we've got enough going forward in attacks. That's why we're going to win comfortably 5-0. So.
What about the cup then? Because obviously, I imagine we won't be doing another episode until after.
Does anybody care?
Yes.
Yes, because I want a cup run this year for once.
I'd like us to win 1 game at the very least in the cup.
I want to see Wayne Rooney get absolutely spanked.
Mould.
But what about the football team, Joe?
I want to see Shrek walk away from this stadium absolutely crying his eyes out.
Oh, didn't Rooney actually say that at half-time when they were losing to Stoke that he wanted to suck his whole team off?
No, he said subbed.
But it sounded like that. No, but you can... An American phrase...
Dirty Nathaniel. You're a dirty man.
No, but there is an American phrase that you can... Captain America says it. And that means being punched on the jaw. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking. Well, even so, that's pretty similar.
But no, when the Sky Sports news presenter said it, it sounded like sucked. But Wayne Rooney meant against Stoke at half-time, if he could make 11 changes at the break, he would. Which was really
much better, is it?
He made no changes.
Player off. He didn't sub a single player.
You can make 5. You can make 5.
He did none.
I would have made 11 if I could. Scrap that, Wayne. You didn't make a single one.
Gosh.
He's a glorious manager. I love him so much.
See, I thought that he was going to be a good manager at Derby because he did decently enough. But then...
The belief in the reason he did well at Derby is more people behind him rather than him himself. And I'm not just saying because it's Rossini, but all the entire backroom staff that was there.
In terms of like motivation, 21-point deduction is motivation enough, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Look at Everton with the 10-point deduction, the form they went on straight after getting it.
Mm-hmm.
But when you come in and the team's riding the crest of a wave under John Eustace and he's just been thrown out the door.
5th to 19th. Ooh.
For
it's not quite us, but it's pretty close what we did.
Yeah, but the story and finish it, Nathaniel, it could go lower.
Mm-hmm.
It could go a hell of a lot lower. They are about where we finished in the McCann Avaladze season now, and there's still half the season to go.
Well, they won't stick by him, will they?
Yeah, they will.
I think they might. Unless there is the rumour of Steve Cooper going there, but I don't know why he'd be silly enough to do that.
I don't know why Birmingham think they've got this massive pull.
No, not at all.
At the moment, no. If they're in the Premier League, there's a massive opportunity there. But
they've had a good 2.5 months in about 10 years. Because they were doing okay at the start of this year, but they are
the longest running team in this league, are these? Them are Preston.
But that's because they're always scraped by relegation. They're always 20th, so they're not a good club, really.
It means we'll lose to them anyway. We'll beat them. We're going to beat them 3-0 as well.
Nice. I'll go with that. To be fair,
I will go 2. But I'd rather us lose to them in the FA Cup, than lose to them at home in the league when we play them.
Yeah, definitely. But I want a cup run, so I don't want us to lose.
If it was the cup final, I'd rather we won the cup. But yeah,
I still want a cup run.
I am still fuming about how that draw went when there was us Birmingham and about 6 or 7 like lower league sides and non-league sides left, and we managed to draw one another. I am still fuming with that.
It was blooming horrific, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was not good.
Anyway, I think for the moment, that's all we've got to say. Sheffield Wednesday game, hopefully winning that to stay in the playoffs at the start of the next year, and then the FA Cup. Probably a decent opportunity to see some players maybe for the last time as it's January. So, Joe, thank you very much for coming on. Always a pleasure to have you. And
always a pleasure to be on, guys.
Thank you very much.
I'm a regular appearance at this point, Joe.
Yes, you can.
I'm enjoying my appearances on this.
You can come on again.
Thank you for having me.
Certainly. I mean, yeah, Will, another great contribution from you today. So thank you very much. And thanks to everyone. Thanks to everyone who's liked and commented and retweeted and done smoke signals saying how much they love the podcast, leaving reviews on kind of.
They weren't doing the smoke signals from the top of Blackpool Tower, were they?
No. What was that? Netting? Orange netting?
Orange netting.
Dear. They are now going to have to implement some sort of stupid law that you're not allowed to make orange netting, though, aren't they?
I mean,
RIPL black and amber nets.
I mean,
yeah, that's why we can't have them.
As Keith Ladd once said, "There's no smoke without fire." So they really should have thought about it before they called it in.
Yeah, and there's no fire without smoke.
Squad out there, and it was some orange netting in the wind.
Absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, other than people in Blackpool who saw that happen, thanks to everyone who's liked and commented, and we'll be back again very soon. Will, I'm struggling to press the button to do the outro, but I think I got it. So yeah, on that bombshell, we'll see you pretty soon.